Assalamualaikum and good evening, ladies. Welcome to our forum for today. First of all, I would like to thank to all of our panel today for attending this forum. Our topic for today is boarding school and day school. Before that, let me introduce to all of our panel for tonight because most of them have a lot of knowledge and also experience about this topic that we will discuss. First, we have one Nur Aisha, one of the parent in day school. Secondly, we have Fika, teacher at day school. Thirdly, we have Nazratul Najiha, ex-student of boarding school. And lastly, we have Nur Hafiza, a child development expert. Hope all of you was in good of health. My name is Muhammad Rahdi and I will be moderator for today. Okay, what is boarding school and day school? A boarding school is an institution where children live within a premise while being given formal instruction. The word boarding is used in the sense of room and board, lodging and meals, as they have existed for many centuries and now extend across many countries. Their function and ethos vary greatly. Children in boarding school study and live during the school year with their fellow students and possibly teachers. Some boarding school also have a student who attend the institution by day and return off campus to their family in the evening. They live under the care of hostel warden. A day school, as opposed to a boarding school, is an educational institution where children or high school age adolescents are given instruction during the day. After which the student return to their home, they stay with their family and go to school only for studies. Uh, for further detail about this topic, I would like to seek an information from the first panel, Ms. Aisha. As a parent, which one do you think is the best option between these two and why do you think it is the best option for you?
In terms of expenses, it is very crucial things for parent as we have so many other commitments that we have to do that involve money. Every parent that every parent knows that boarding school is more expensive as compared to day school. Therefore, I would prefer if my children go to day school instead. Since every family has different income, so for a low income family, having their child going to a boarding school will be a financial burden to the parents. An excellent day school will give our child the same level of academic, education, and opportunities as boarding school. Yes, we have to spend more on food when they're at home, of course, and we also have to spend more on driving them to school and extracurricular activities. But despite all of that, we could save a massive amount of money by having them home. If money is not a concern for the parents, then they should consider on having their child going to a boarding school for the benefits that it offers.
Thank you, Ms. Aisha, on your opinion. Next, we move on to our next panel, Ms. Najiha. Do you agree with Ms. Aisha's opinion?
I do agree with the fact that boarding school costs a lot more than day school. However, we must take a look at the reason why it is much more costly compared to day school. Boarding school students spend their whole time at their school while day school students only spend their time at school for a fixed hour. Therefore, the cost difference exists due to the provision of the facilities like accommodation, meals, health, security measures, school stationaries, and a lot more. In my opinion, the cost is quite reasonable as it is for the benefits of the students. Besides that, for parents, it could save money on normal child expenses because it was covered by the boarding fees. Since I didn't come from a well-off family, money is an obvious issue. However, I still get into a boarding school through programs. The programs help giving a tuition-free education to accept students if their household income is below a certain threshold. I believe this program should be an option for those who comes from low-income family.
Thank you, Ms. Najiha, on your opinion. Now, I would like to pose next question to Ms. Fika. As a teacher in day school, why do you think day school is better than boarding school?
Okay, thank you, moderator. I want to mention about extracurricular activities. For my personal experience of teaching all of students from the day school, extracurricular activities provide a productive break from study. These activities offer a very welcoming break from the hectic and stressful studies and homework. These type activities were the best solution and established among the student life by good quality times to taking a break from a tension and stressful situation. Depends on their interest. They can choose any of activities they desire that were offered by the school. By the getting involved on through the extracurricular activities, it tends to boost their academic performance. Apparently, lots of benefits when the student getting involved with these activities of extracurricular in school. Sort some of skills that obtain from the activities, a lot of skills that lie at the heart of extracurricular might can be used during core academic subjects because of education requires solid problem solving skills, memory, creativity, and most vital things are critical thinking. To varying degrees, extracurricular activity had its own impact on certain areas. There was research that carried out extracurricular activity develops a link to endorse on to a better academic performance by research finding of studies by Texas A&M University. Important academic outcomes like reading, maths, and solving subjects and course grades all found to be positively influenced by students who engage within the extracurricular activities.
Thank you. Well, what Miss Fika mentioned just now, for every good thing, there must be a bad thing on it. Miss Iza, as a child development expert, what do you think about this? Do you think extracurriculum good for student or not?
Okay, for my opinion, it's not too good for student for extracurricular. Extracurricular are robbing student education of boarding school. I substantially agree that extracurricular activities help students to relieve their stress on their studies and so on. But there is a negative impact on it if student didn't able to balance between the activities and academic. Therefore, within my own self-reflection toward these extracurricular activities, several students might not getting or figure it out a way to balance their studies and extracurricular activities. In boarding school, they basically provide a ton of homework and assignment than day school. Unfortunately, this will drive students to more wanted abandon their studies and prefer too much reliable towards the activities they involve and got too much distracted by the activities and resulting on unpleasant impact. The mass movement of the most talented and diligent students systematically sell themselves short, turning away from their academic work in favor of all and idle extracurricular activities. There were various of intensely towards the stressful and consume human pursuits. Their peers had a lazy time in education study and to spending time too much in extracurricular activities. And by that, this is result on their grades, which is contributes on competitive differentiation in an era of extreme grade inflation. Overextension, they may be resulted of decades of extreme grade inflation on the student. In my observation, some of students can catch up with the academics and for their solution preferences to take part and distinguish themselves with extracurricular activities but didn't balance with the activities and students of academic when all scores are high rising among the well-balanced students. As a student putting their leisure effort into their classes, student might be abandoned how important to having a perfect and pass score in academic. Finally, the academic bar sinks lower and extracurricular activities now become ever important markers achievement rather than academic score.
Thank you, Miss Isa. Miss Najia, you as an ex-student in boarding school, can you share with us the benefit that you get?
Thank you, Mr. Radi. So the boarding school environment requires students to develop the responsibility of keeping a schedule, attending required activities, and having a sense of awareness of expectation. Therefore, it trained me to manage my time really well. As an ex-student of one boarding school in Malaysia, I think all good boarding schools give maximum attention to overall development of a student, and this start with in calculating discipline to follow daily routine and rules. To have a successful life, it all starts with the time management. In boarding school, we already been setting up with a schedule that we need to follow. As an ex-boarding school student, academic always come in the first place. This means that our classes, homework, and studying takes precedence over other social activities. Each evening, apart from Saturdays, we would have a set of prep time. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, a prep time is a period when the teachers are at school but do not teach. And therefore, the students and the teachers are able to prepare for the later classes. So in this period, we are required to complete our homework and any necessary revision or extra study. This is a structured and formal part of the evening, and expectation of behavior are made very clear by the academic staff on duty. The supervised and managed prep sessions are one of the key benefits of boarding school and are crucial in helping students to develop and improve the independent student skill, which will be vital for their progression to the university. Frankly speaking, sleep may not be the first thing that comes to mind when learning how to manage time at boarding school. But the reality is, without a solid 8 hours a night, your productivity during the rest of the day will suffer. So, without parents overlooking their child schedule, students must learn to effectively manage their time by themselves.
Thank you, Ms. Najia. Ms. Asha, do you agree with this?
In my point of view, when you are considering sending your child to a boarding school, it's a huge decision. So it's important that you have fully considered both the potential drawbacks and the possible advantage to your child. Remember that a child attending a boarding school will spend far more time there than a day school. With the extra academic and extracurricular opportunities at boarding school, children may have less time to be alone with their thoughts and personal interests. This might mean less time for things like reading or for older children having a part-time job or any of other important developmental activities that can be offered to children living at home. Often the boarding school is highly structured with lots of rules and regulation, which which can lead to some children wanting to rebel against the grain. All of these reasons actually could lead to stress and anxiety. Anxiety is a feeling of unease, such as worry or fear, that can be mild or severe. I think spending too much time in studies and academic burden added to the high expectation of parents may worsen the problem. Anxiety disorders may run a chronic course if untreated and increase the risk of psychiatric disorder. But obviously, this depends on the individual school and the nature of your own child.
Thank you. Ms. Najia, could you please tell us more the benefit on attending boarding school?
So when students at a boarding school assume responsibility for academic and social success, they must develop excellent skills in communication. For example, to help develop soft skills, Mara Junior Science College, which is known as MRSM, offer a varied and versatile program of activities outside the classroom. This includes trips and hobby options, as well as the opportunities to participate in sports. By being challenged to introduce themselves and interact with others, we would step outside of the comfort zone and build the confidence needed to develop well-rounded social skills, which will greatly benefit us in adult life. Boarding school teachers also have the resources and time to support both the students' academic challenge and social growth. They can support students in enriching activities that build their character and their identities as students, whether it's collaborating with students to run programs on the weekend or in the dorms, or participating in community service events with a group of students and staff. By graduation, we would have acquired a set of communication skills, a successful CV, both interpersonal and social skills that can be used into the future.
Mrs. Asha, do you have anything to say about this?
I do agree with Ms. Najiha, but I have my personal opinion on this matter. We cannot deny that being in boarding school really benefits to someone. However, nowadays there are a lot of students from day school has been really successful with the social skills they have gained back then when they were in high school. For example, all of my children entered the day school nearby our house. I have seen my children improve their soft and hard skills through the program made by their schools such as leadership program, camping, and so on. We cannot say that boarding school is the only place to gain such those skills, because day school nowadays also has been quite excellent in creating some extracurricular outside the class.
Thank you. All right, now, Miss Fika, does mental health play important roles on day school student?
Yes, mental health also play the important roles on the school, which is student develop more stable wisdom and comfort situation of school life. From my own personal observation through my student, nowadays students tend to get stressful from a bundle of studies, homework, tutorial, quiz, and another were not mentioned here may relatable on this situation previously. Therefore, day school were the best choices for the student who may wanted to opt more relaxed, comforts, balanced time management on their parents' home. Students from day school also tend to manage their time management in proper ways by plan their day flows to ensure no overlap with study, social and leisure time at their home. At home, student mental more assured not to tension or stressed by support of their family, which is parents, siblings, even through cousin, aunties, uncle, grandpa, and grandma if they live nearby or next to the house. Family support most among the crucial things to have from that student motto observe flexibility to manage their own schedule at home. For the senior students, such secondary or high school or day school, tend to arrange their time freely without concern if overlap with another activities or plan. With this benefit were obtained by the student. They didn't do got any to tie up activities among them. Therefore, this will prevent yourself to encounter stressful mind from thinking too much about their studies.
Thank you for your explanation, Miss Fika. Miss Iza, would you like to speak?
Yes, I think boarding school more the right decision to send their child compared to day school, because day school might be great for child to attend for, but the quality, focus, independently type more to boarding school. On my own reflection, students that attend to day school tend to be more spoiled and leisure independent. Every student must can conduct their own decision without reliable towards their parents. The spoiled child highly chances to observe a negativity thinking, doesn't make own decision and always rely to their parents in every solution of problems. This result on their physical, mental, emotions, environment around them. Also, takes part on how their characteristic build up, as their social behavior be defined from clinical psychologist Lori Wheatley, PhD. Working well with others is a major part of life. So helping our kids learn this early in life is a plus. It is our responsibility as parents to help them learn this.
Thank you, Miss Iza. Miss Asha, what do you think about the safety, care, and supervision in this?
As a parent, I would love to have a close supervision on my children, and day school are a better option for that. The constant parent-teacher contact enables the parent to monitor the progress of their children in terms of both academics and extracurricular activities. Parents can provide moral guidance if they are in constant contact with their children. In case of any sickness or injury, parents can be with their children immediately, because some children require parents to be constantly by their side, especially if something terrible happens. The safety of the child is one of the biggest concerns of parents. If they are admitted in day school, we will know when exactly they get out of school, or if they have any extra activities after school, because the schedule is fixed. Therefore, we could get to the school on the right time. I cannot bear the thought of handing over this responsibility of my children to someone else.
Okay, thank you for your response. Miss Najiha, what do you think about this in boarding school?
Okay, so I think if it's about the safety and care for the students, parents should not be worried, because most of the boarding school nowadays has an excellent supervision measure which prioritize the student safety and health. They have more numbers of security compared to day school. Also, the use of surveillance camera in the buildings which help to track the students' behavior or any unwanted cases. In case of any emergency, They have a doctor's office, and if something happened during the night time, the teachers in charge will definitely bring the students to the nearest hospitals. Parents will be informed immediately in this case. So during my time as a student in boarding schools, I feel completely safe with the school system. It also taught me on how to be a responsible person in terms of safety and health.
Thank you, Miss Najia. Now we move on to Miss Iza. What do you think about the psychology effect on boarding school can have on students?
Boarding school has been a feature of education system for centuries. Boarding school children are generally better prepared for post-school study. They tend to be mature, independent, and critical thinkers. They also demonstrate greater adaptive motivation and academic goal setting ability. Also, there is a research say that some families report more positive relationships with their child in boarding. Another positive side of boarding, a kind of collective life to some extent, may reduce the risk of psychological problems on students. For example, group living environments supervised by school assigned student caregivers may help maintain the health and safety of boarding students. For those students who do not have enough family care, they may be able to get better care and life at school than in their families, which may contribute to their healthy development. Moreover, psychological counseling from teachers and communication with peers can help deprived students to overcome their troubles and psychological problems and other common challenges experienced by them as a student.
Miss Fika, what do you think about this?
On the contrary, life in a boarding school isn't always welcoming. Living away from family for years, which just a few visits back home, can impair relationships. Moreover, children can develop homesickness, which affects their development in multiple ways. Worse, there are cases of abuse, which might take more time to report, and living away from families during such times ended up this might scar children for life. The collective living environment of boarding schools is also likely to resulting in students being more affected by the bad habits and behavior of other students, and even makes them more susceptible to suffering from bullying, but of which would have a long-term negative impact on students' physical and mental development. Plus, as a child, it's vital that there is safe space where you don't have to be on your guard. In any school, there are all kind of things going on, conflicts, friendships, and many more. Children need time to unplug and process with what is happening. They also need a space can burst into tears. They also need space where they can pursue their interests without fear of judgment. They need a space where they can burst into tears and pull their hair out if they need to. So, the fact that boarding schools can expose children to long-term psychological problems is indeed a cause of concern. Plus, this also coined by psychotherapist John Scaverian. The term body school syndrome relates to psychological problems in adults that are the result of being sent to boarding school at an early age.
Thank you, Miss Fika. Back to Miss Iza again. Can you share with us the benefit that student can get when attending a boarding school?
Okay. Another benefits to attend boarding school is independence. Independence might be the greatest gift that parents can give to their children. Today, when so many parents are hyper-vigilant and want to be involved in every aspect of their child's life, boarding school can be the perfect antidote. Children are required to navigate through the elements, do their own laundry, and get up in the morning. Parents are there to shield them from natural causes and effects. Boarding schools are good places to fail and succeed, which makes them great places to learn. It is a controlled freedom. They quickly learn how to perform many domestic chores and complete school assignments by themselves. Moreover, they become expert at managing their time, money, and resources. These students mature quickly and tend to be very independent and successful in life. Furthermore, with the ability to manage their own lives, they become strong individuals capable of leadership and have self-initiative. The current state of our culture has made it difficult. For parents to cultivate those traits, and private school, it is an outlet for these important qualities to be nurtured. Students don't just have to manage their own affairs. They learn how to live and deal with other people. They are challenged to develop their interpersonal skill because there is no hiding at boarding school. A child who is dropped off in the morning and picked up at 3 o'clock by mom isn't a challenge to develop the same peer skills as a kid who lives with other students 24 hours a day on campus. Boarding school is a transformative experience in learning to communicate with others. Something a lot of something a lot of people don't get until college, if at all.
Okay, thank you. Miss Fika, do you agree with Miss Iza's statement?
I agree with the statement that boarding school create independence children, but day school also helps them become independent in certain ways. Parents are a child's most natural support and best role models to learn from. If they are separated from them for long periods of time, this makes damage their relationship and leave the child feeling anxious or alone. Schools are unlikely to be able to replicate the detailed knowledge of each individual child that a parent has, and therefore cannot be as effective in supporting the child in what they want to do. But still, as a teacher, it's also a responsibility to teach or motivate them to become independent, not just in academic. By using the power of teacher and student relationship to show a passion for learning. When you embody passion for learning, your students are more likely to have powerful, positive emotional connection to learning that will inspire the motivation to continue to learn to become an independent person. Support students in developing their own goals that are realistic yet challenging. Often the most motivating goals are those allow themselves to use their personal strengths and to be independent to achieve.
Okay, thank you, Miss Fika. Now we know what boarding school and day school is and what is the pro and cons, the benefit that we can get, and lastly, how it affects our children. Finally, we have come to the end of our forum tonight where we have shared a lot of knowledge which we don't even know before. Beside the good thing, there is also a bad thing. So it is everyone's right to choose. For the last word from me, I would like to thank to all of our panel today that are willing to use their precious time on this forum today. Thank you once again and Assalamualaikum.